There are footballers who celebrate goals. There are footballers who celebrate trophies. And then there's Lamine Yamal, who sometimes looks like he's forgotten he's supposed to be one of the biggest football stars on the planet. Because when the cameras find him with his little brother Keyne, the serious superstar disappears. The smiles come out, the jokes start, and somehow, a 3-year-old ends up stealing the spotlight from one of the best young footballers in the world. But here's the interesting part. Keyne isn't just internet comedy. For Lamine, this little boy represents something much deeper, because behind the confidence, behind the jokes, behind the outrageous football, there is a young man who grew up understanding pressure very differently. And perhaps that's exactly why he refuses to lose his happiness.
Son, el hermano de Lamine Yamal.
Before the records, before Barcelona, before the Euros, Lamine Yamal was just a kid from Rocafonda in Catalonia. Football became his escape, his obsession, and eventually his future. Barcelona recognized his talent early. At La Masia, he wasn't simply another talented academy player. His technical ability and decision-making stood out so much that, by 2023, Barcelona were willing to trust him with first-team football at an age when most players were still trying to make their youth team careers work. Then came the moment that changed everything. April 2023, Barcelona against Real Betis. Lamine came onto the pitch. He was just 15 years old, and suddenly, the boy from the academy was playing La Liga football. At 15 years, 9 months, and 16 days, he became Barcelona's youngest La Liga debutant. Think about that. 15. Most teenagers are worrying about school. Lamine was stepping onto a pitch filled with some of the world's best footballers, and somehow, he looked comfortable. That would become one of the defining characteristics of his personality. The bigger the stage became, the more natural he seemed. And that confidence is important, because Lamine doesn't play like someone asking for permission. He plays like someone who already believes he belongs. He receives the ball, faces the defender, stops, changes direction, and goes again. There is almost something playful about it. That's what makes his football so entertaining. He's not simply trying to survive against experienced defenders, he's trying to enjoy himself. And that mentality became even more obvious when Spain selected him for Euro 2024. He was only 16, yet Spain didn't hide him, they played him. And Lamine responded by rewriting history. Against Croatia, he became the youngest player ever to appear at a European championship. Against France in the semi-final, he produced the moment that announced him to the world. A beautiful curling shot from outside the box. Goal. 16 years old. Youngest scorer in European championship history, and suddenly, this wasn't just a promising Barcelona kid, this was a global football star. UEFA named him Young Player of the Tournament after Spain won the competition with 4 assists and 1 goal across the tournament. But something else happened during that tournament. People started noticing the person behind the footballer, the humor, the calmness, the smile, and the fact that Lamine seemed to genuinely enjoy being Lamine. That sounds simple. It isn't, because imagine becoming famous before you've even finished growing up. Every touch is analyzed. Every mistake becomes a headline. Every expression becomes a meme. Every bad game becomes a debate. And suddenly millions of people have an opinion about a teenager. But Lamine has repeatedly spoken about confidence as something essential to his game, and perhaps that explains his personality. He doesn't seem interested in becoming some perfectly controlled football machine. He still jokes, he still laughs, he still acts like a teenager, and then he walks onto a football pitch and destroys a defense. That contrast is what makes him so fascinating. Off the pitch, he's playful. On it, he's ruthless. And then came someone who brought out an even more ridiculous side of him. His little brother, Keyne. Keyne is Lamine's younger maternal half-brother. He was born in September 2022. And because of the huge age difference between them, their relationship is much closer to something you might expect between an older brother and a young child he feels responsible for. Lamine has actually described Keyne in remarkably emotional terms. After seeing his brother celebrating Spain's World Cup success, Lamine said, "My little brother means everything to me. I am in love with him. It feels like he is my son." And that sentence tells you more about Lamine than any statistic ever could, because football gave him fame, but family gives him perspective. And when Keyne appears, Lamine doesn't look like a superstar.